Hello, everyone. My name is Nima Mekki. I am the co-chair and lead organizer of the 2021 Alberta Student Energy Conference. And I'd like to start off by formally welcoming you to our first webinar of the semester. Given the current challenges that are happening within the energy sector today, our team chooses to see these as opportunities for growth. We firmly believe that through using innovation as a vehicle, the energy industry can move towards a more progressive and prosperous future. For that reason, our overarching theme for the upcoming year of conference is actually gearing towards a more innovative future. So just to provide a little bit of an overview of what we'll be touching on during the course of this webinar, or this info session, essentially, is providing a little bit of background in terms of what the Alberta Student Energy Conference has been in the last 10 years, who some of our previous sponsors have been, and who we can expect to make a comeback in the upcoming year. The objectives that we've outlined for ourselves with this conference, the amazing team that's behind the 2021 initiative itself, as well as information about ASEC events and registration dates that you need to keep an eye out for if you're looking to help land a job in industry at this point in time. So delving right into it, what is ASEC? The Alberta Student Energy Conference is a 2-day-long initiative that's aimed at stimulating a discussion between industry and students with the hopes of cultivating new relationships and sharing knowledge. This is actually the 10th year that the Alberta Student Energy Conference will be hosted at the University of Calgary. And we are actually aiming to host it during reading break of winter 2021. The dates essentially are February 18th and 19th. You'll hear more information about how you can register for that a little bit more towards the end of our info session here. The conference itself not only focuses on oil and gas, but it's always looking to showcase new opportunities that are coming up as a result of the biggest developments happening in the energy industry today. So what you see in front of you are some of the previous sponsors that we've had. As you can see, over the last decade, we've established some very robust relationships with some of the biggest names in energy today. A lot of these entities that you see in front of you are very excited to be making a comeback for the upcoming year conference, and will be playing a very active role to be able to provide you with a little bit more information in terms of what they're looking for with their new hires, as well as touching on, some of the biggest developments that are happening in energy today and where they see things heading. Some of the objectives that we've outlined for ourselves in the upcoming year include the following. So first and foremost, we want to help build a bridge between industry and students through facilitating a more lively discussion on some of the biggest developments that are happening in the energy sector today. We also want to provide opportunities for students like yourself to expand your professional network and just gain a better understanding of how multidisciplinary the energy sector is in its nature. Apart from that, we also want to help cultivate a platform to aid students like you with professional development and obtaining employment opportunities, something that we know is, particularly hard given the current pandemic, but we want to do everything that we can to make that as easy for you as possible in the upcoming year. The fourth objective that we've outlined for ourselves is actually fostering an environment for innovative solutions. And we're actually doing this through a two-parter. So for the first time, we'll actually be hosting a business case competition in collaboration with the Haskayne School of Business, something we'll be touching a little bit more on later in this presentation, as well as a 2-day hackathon. So what you see in front of you is our fabulous executive team. What we have here are our wonderful VPs as well as our co-chairs. And here are our directors. A majority of our team is actually comprised of individuals who are either on internship or have been on an internship in industry. They've worked for companies such as Husky Energy, TC Energy, Crescent Point, CNOC International, and Suncor Energy. For that very reason, all of our members are very passionate about personal growth as well as professional development. Their experiences during internship help them grow as young professionals, and they really are determined to ensure that every student, despite anything that's going on right now, is able to get the same privilege and be able to retain that sort of experience during the course of their undergrad. Now I'm going to be handing it over to our Director of Logistics to kind of touch on what you can expect to see from our future webinars this semester and the next. Over to you, Camilla.
Right, so there are lots of benefits that will come with attending the ASEC webinars. Just a note that these webinars will be happening in October, November, and January leading up to the conference. Here we only have 4 listed, but there are tons of benefits, starting with the increased awareness of job opportunities that are available in industry. This can be super helpful when you're considering your career choices. Having more of a background and knowing what's going on in the industry, in the energy sector, makes you more knowledgeable and prepared for interviews in the future. The second one is the ability to connect with professors both at the U of C and in industry. It's more important now more than ever before to build that external network, and we will have a large amount of speakers that will help you to do just that. Third, you will receive information about upcoming ASEC events and promotions, meaning you will stay on top of the latest news from ASEC. We are doing our best to increase your employability and the chances of you getting a job or broadening your knowledge in the energy sector. That being said, there will be a list of dates on the last slide about the upcoming webinars, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for our events because they were created with the intention of benefiting you. And finally, every ASEC event comes with the opportunity to win really cool cash prizes.
Thank you, Camilla. So just to kind of touch into one of our competitions that we'll be hosting in collaboration with the Haskayne School of Business, I'm going to turn it over to Rayhan, who is our VP of the EnergyBowl that we'll be hosting in the upcoming year.
Thank you. So before we get into what's on the slide in terms of the goals of EnergyBowl and student opportunities that will come from participating in it, let's just take a step back and recap what the EnergyBowl 2021 is and what you can expect as a participant. So the EnergyBowl 2021 is an international case competition. And for those of you who might not be familiar with what a case competition is, you can expect a real business presenting a formal issue or scenario that you're challenged with providing a recommendation for. So it could be in need of a new strategic action, it could be optimizing operations, or it can be a combination of all of these different things. And the companies that we are working with are some of the big names in the energy industry who are very interested in highlighting super cool new initiatives and trends, such as applying artificial intelligence, leveraging machine learning, using data analytics to really push forward and be leaders in that space. So they're very eager to see how students address these problems and what diverse perspectives and solutions they can bring. So now moving on to the slide. Our number one goal for this event is to cultivate relationships and give you an opportunity to share knowledge with professionals while they also get a chance to learn from you. This will be done through stimulating discussions and giving each participant an opportunity to build a relationship with professionals. Secondly, we want to provide opportunities for professional development. This will be done through a multitude of ways, from workshops to working in interdisciplinary teams, asking questions, etc. Lastly, we really want to focus on technology and innovation. The world is quickly changing, and we want to encourage diverse perspectives and students thinking outside of the box. And a lot of companies are interested in that as well. They're looking for students who can look past the black and white and really find the color and addressing a lot of the problems and pertinent issues we're seeing today. So in terms of student opportunities, you'll have a chance to compete on an international stage, which is a very unique opportunity to distinguish yourself and really stand out. You'll gain exposure to top corporations and consulting firms and have a chance to really impress them. You'll be able to collaborate with students from other disciplines, apply classroom knowledge in a practical setting, and improve your teamwork and presentation skills. As a culmination of all these experiences, we expect you to walk away with a toolkit that's bigger than the one that you came with. And we want you to stand out from your peers once you enter the job market. And that's our goal as an organizer of this competition. So we eagerly anticipate seeing you this February. And if you would like to learn more or have any questions, please feel free to connect with us, and we'd be happy to answer in any way that we
Hackathon
can.
is one of our
Thank you.
newest additions to the
Now to touch
2021
on one of
ASEC
the newest
conference.
additions that we
The
have to our
hackathon is
programming
basically
in the
an event
upcoming
that
year.
focuses on
I'm
data
going to
science
turn it over to
applications
Remy,
within
who
the
happens to be our
energy
infotech
industry.
director, just to tell
We've
you a
been
little bit more
collaborating
about what
with
you
a
can
whole bunch of
expect with this year's
energy
hackathon.
companies in order to provide these questions and provide you real world solutions. With the hackathon event, what you can expect is to get top tier industry skills, so such as Spotfire training, R training, and also Python. You could also expect a high level of networking opportunities, simply because you're working on these intense, difficult questions that these energy companies need solved. And then lastly, you're going to also work on your soft skills as well, the skills that nobody really talks about. So that's collaboration, teamwork, and really managing a team and being in a team. If all that's not enough for you guys, then the last one you can win is a cash prize at the end, and ultimately that should sweeten the deal for you. So that is what we're doing for Hackathon. In addition, we're also going to be training you. So we're going to be training you in all these skills that you need. So that's kind of what the hackathon is about for 2021, and we hope to see you there.
Yeah, thank you, Remy. So just to kind of reiterate his point, you don't have to be a computer whiz to essentially participate in this year's hackathon. We are going to be doing training sessions. So when you do sign up, you get the added bonus of being able to learn a new skill that you can hopefully put on your resume and make it that much more easier to appeal to some of the bigger companies that are looking to hire
for co-op and postgrad positions right now.
Now I'm going to turn it over to one of our other VPs, Ben, just to kind of end off with our registration dates and what you can look forward to.
Thank you, Nima. First and foremost, guys, follow us on all social media channels. This gives you updates on all of our events, different things that change within the event. So keep updated with us. Big date is in 4 days, October 19th, which is hackathon registration. Another big day is EnergyBowl registration, which is November 9th. And then, of course, on February 18th to 19th, we have ASEC that actually goes on. So keep posted. We're working tirelessly right now to make sure that we deliver value in a time where students are struggling. On top of that, we really made sure that there's something for everybody. So keep posted with us, and we hope to see you at one of the events.
Wonderful, thank you. So that kind of concludes the spiel that we had in terms of providing an overview of what we're planning to do to help students right now. I kind of want to just open the floor if anybody has any questions.
So you mentioned about training sessions for the hackathon. So how long are those training sessions gonna last? Is it like, because I'm not really into the computers, I'm into the Haskell school. So do we have to learn that advanced programming and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, no, I could take that question. So the training sessions are going to be basically every weekend for a whole month or so. And we're basically going to set you up with all the necessary skills that you need to solve the problem that will be presented to you in the end. So little to no experience programming or anything is fine. You'll be essentially provided everything through the training sessions. And that runs over the course of like a month, just on the weekends. So.
Right. Thank you.
And just to add to that, those training sessions are also going to be recorded. So if you have registered for it, and if you're one of the people who is participating, you will also be getting a link to essentially watch the video on your own time if you want to review it at a later time or look at it with more detail.
Yep.
All right. Any more questions? All All right. So just to kind of provide a little bit more context of what you can expect, a couple of important dates that we also have coming up are actually our webinars. So this is something that was mentioned in our last slide, but I'm just going to go over it a little bit more of what you can anticipate with that. So our next webinar is actually going to be taking place on October 28th, which is essentially going to be on energy systems and the transition that's essentially happening within the energy industry right now. It's going to be actually hosted by a very lively and wonderful speaker who is actually going to be a workshop. So one of the cool things that we're doing with ASEC this year around is that we've actually, transitioned out of just doing lectures. We want to make our content that we're putting forward for students as engaging as possible. So there are going to be cool activities that you can participate in, as well as various different things throughout the course of the webinars that you can actually use to have a conversation with our speaker. Another one that you would want to keep your eye out for is the one that we're doing on November 24th. This one is actually really cool because it also touches on not only about innovation, but just also entrepreneurship. So there are several different programs and curriculum changes that are actually coming to the University of Calgary that center around empowering students to actually become entrepreneurs. Particularly our researchers, for instance. CVCI in particular has a lot of wonderful new programs that they're putting forward that kind of help students to build up, the type of experience that industry would really appreciate when they go to apply for a co-op position or even a summer student position. So we're going to be sharing that as well. And it also kind of provides context if you're thinking about doing a master's, if you've ever done research, if academia has ever been your thing. Essentially what you can do to take what you've created in the lab or what you've discovered through that journey and use that as a way of starting up your own business. So we're actually also going to be touching on that sort of underlying theme within our programming for ASEC as well. Another thing I think is worth mentioning is that registration dates for the actual conference itself, the ones that are, so the actual conference dates, which are February 18th and 19th, will be opening up in January. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that and make sure you're following us on our socials to make sure that you get that in. We'll also be providing a little bit more information, particularly within our January webinar about what you can expect for the programming. So you have a better idea of what type of workshops you would want to sign up for, as well as various company tours and workshops to essentially help you interact one-on-one with a lot of the industry professionals that are actually going to be sponsoring our conference in the upcoming year.